Greetings everyone. Hope all of you are having an absolutely fantastic day. We're back again with more Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, and this time I want to talk about camping. There's actually a lot of skills that go into camping, along with a corruption mechanic that might be kind of weird for people who haven't played the game already before. So I thought it might be good to go through this and make sure everybody is working with the same information that I have. Let's get into it. So if you look in the lower left at some of the options that you have, all the way in the corner, you're going to see a camp icon. So then it's going to open up into this menu, which is essentially a list of different activities your team can engage in while you're camping. We're going to skip over Divine Services and go first to Camouflage. Camouflage basically decides whether or not your camp is going to be ambushed while you're trying to sleep. And they figure out whether or not that's going to occur by rolling a d20, adding the stealth skill of a particular character, and then comparing it to a difficulty check. So you can click here and decide who's going to be responsible for camouflaging your camp, and it'll tell you what is the stealth skill for all of them. And then in addition to that, you can have a secondary person assist with camouflaging the camp. However, these people who assist will only be able to add 2 to the d20 roll. They won't take their entire stealth skill the way it would if they were the primary character. So in this case, I have Camellia, who has our largest stealth skill for this particular team. I've added her to the primary role, and I don't even need anyone in the secondary role because the difficulty check is only 10. So with her 15 skill rank, it's more than enough to ensure that we're properly camouflaged. Keep in mind that these numbers are going to change widely as you move closer and closer to the core of the wound on the world map. Night Watch to some degree goes hand in hand with camouflage, but instead of deciding whether or not your camp is going to be ambushed, it decides how quickly your party is going to react in the event that your party is ambushed. So let's say that you fail the difficulty check for Night Watch. When your camp is ambushed, you could be in a situation where enemies are slashing at you and attacking you, and you're still trying to stand up from laying down and sleeping. Whereas if you are able to succeed on this difficulty check, then when you're ambushed, you're already going to be standing up, ready to attack, ready to repel whatever assault is coming up against your party. This looks at your skill in perception. So again, same with camouflage, you can click here, and for the first shift, it's going to provide you a list of everybody on your team and their perception skill ranking. So of course, we have Windowog in there because she has our highest perception ranking. However, unlike camouflage, your second shift will also use your full perception ranking. So you're basically able to double up. And then it's going to compare it versus a DC that is, of course, very low right now because we're right at Dresden. But again, if you move to different areas of the map, this number is going to change dramatically. Then there's Alchemy. Alchemy allows you to be able to create potions and to cook meals. So we can click on Nanyo, who has one of the highest rankings for Knowledge World on our team. And then you see you have 2 different management menus here. Now, if you want to create potions, you need to have the feat Brew Potions, you need a spell book, and you need an Alchemist Kit. And there are 3 rankings of Alchemist Kit, which limit the level of potions that you're able to create. There's also a mythic feat called Mythic Brew Potions, which increases the level of potions that you're able to create. So if we go into the Manage menu, you'll see here that there's a list of different potions that we could potentially create. Enlarged Person, Mage Armor, and Vanish. We are not able to create a potion of displacement. And that's because you see this 3 over here, which means we need an Alchemist Kit level 3, which we do not have at this time. So we can only create 3 of the 4 potions that we have ingredients for. You can see what ingredients are required in the lower right over here, along with the chance that you'll actually succeed in being able to create it. So it's not automatic that just because you have the recipe and the ingredients for that recipe, that automatically you'll be able to create the potion. You still have to roll a d20 to determine if you have the skill to be able to do this. You're also able to cook from this menu. So you can see here, there's a list of different recipes that you have available, and there's a different DC for all of them. These are recipes that you pick up in the world as you roam about, or you might end up buying them from shops, and each one of them has specific things that they do. I'll be honest, I'm not sure that this is working properly yet in the game. When I cook a meal, I don't see anything in the little buff icon menu by a character's profile. And I haven't seen anything special happen due to cooking a person's favorite dish. So it's possible that there are some additional features that are supposed to occur when you cook that have not been properly implemented into the game yet. But just like when you're making potions, you'll see the ingredients that you need down here, and you'll be able to easily tell whether or not you have them, along with determining what is your chance of success for actually being able to cook this meal. And then finally, we have Scrollscribing. So we can go ahead and choose Nanio for this again. It does a check for your knowledge arcana. And then it's also going to check, do you have a spell book? And do you have the feat that allows you to scribe scrolls? In which case, Nanio has both. Keep in mind that scribe scrolls she automatically comes with, whereas the feat for brewing potions, I manually had to select that for her. I believe the only party member you get that automatically comes with that feat is Windewog. And of course, Windewog's Knowledge World skill ranking is nothing to write home about. So you will probably have to go out of your way to create someone who's good at making potions. There are some classes that automatically give you that feat as well, though. Like I believe if you get Alchemist, it'll automatically give you a Brew Potions feat. Okay, so going back to Scrollscribing, if you have a spell book and you have the ability to scribe scrolls, you do need a Scrollscriber's kit. But then if you go to manage, it'll present you with a list of all the different scrolls that you currently have available to create. Now, I do not know what is used to determine what scrolls are in this list, because I have a lot more scrolls in my inventory than are right here. And it's clearly giving me scrolls that I'm not capable of creating. So it's not based upon what it thinks you can successfully do. So I don't know what is being used to judge what scrolls are going to pop up here. Like there are some that I would like to have that I don't see, such as Bark Skin or Protection from Arrows Communal. I don't see either one of those, and I'm not sure if maybe you need to get to a certain level and they'll just pop up here, or if there's a mechanic that allows you to get more into this list, but it's just not properly implemented into the game yet. But for right now in the beta, when you go into the menu, this is what you see. And as usual, when you click on it, it'll let you know these are the ingredients. Here's your chance of success for being able to actually create this scroll. And if you need a specific Scrollscriber's kit in order to be able to create it, you'll be able to see what level it is along here on the left. Down at the bottom, it gives you a couple of different options for how you're going to rest. So if you just have rest for the recommended period, it'll let you rest for the shortest amount possible to get you fully healed up. You can manually unselect that and then go to the longest period possible if for whatever reason you want to rest for a longer period of time, such as if you want to move time forward by several days and you no longer have access to the Crusade system, which means you no longer have access to that skip day button in the upper right. This is probably one of the best ways for you to be able to move time forward. It'll also let you decide whether or not you want to use healing spells and abilities before you rest. Now, when you're about to rest, you'll notice that there's this Abyssal Corruption here, right? And there are 3 potential levels that you can get to of it. So basically, the way this game works is if you're at an actual base, at an actual home base, then the food and drink that you use are considered to be purified, and therefore taking it in will not corrupt you in any way. However, anytime you're traveling out in the world map outside of the base, they're going to say that all of the food and drink that you're taking in while you're camping is corrupted by the Worldwound, and that your body can only take so much of this corruption. So this is basically the measure that they use to limit how much you can rest without having you use sleep supplies or things of that nature. Now, you can limit how much corruption your body intakes by performing divine services. And this is going to do a check against your religion skill to determine how much corruption you're actually going to take. So if we use the person with the best religious skill on my team, which is Ember, and we're bump that up a little bit. Oh, sorry. Ember, and then choose a secondary slot and get Darren to help a little bit. So she's going to check this 17 against that 15. We'll keep it like this. If we then do a rest, you'll see that we were successfully able to lessen the impact of corruption. So originally the corruption was going to come right up to before level 1, but instead we were able to lessen some of it. So essentially, the better religion skill ranking you have, the more and farther you're going to be able to travel on the map. If your religion skill is low, you're going to end up in a situation where you're going to take a lot of corruption while you're traveling around, and very quickly you're going to end up in a situation where you have to run back to home base, which is going to make the game take significantly longer and increase the amount of time it takes for you to get through certain quests. So that explanation of divine services and Abyssal Corruption brings up an obvious question. What happens when you reach these separate levels of corruption? So let's go through it. Corruption level 1. Party members suffer a 15% arcane spell failure chance, a -2 penalty to wisdom and intelligence scores, and -3 penalty to CMD and CMB. Corruption level 2. In addition to the other effects, the party members cannot perform charge attacks and suffer a -3 penalty to strength, dexterity, and charisma scores. And then finally, corruption level 3. In addition to the other effects, the party members suffer a -2 penalty to strength, dexterity, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma scores. Each time they try to cast a spell, they must pass a concentration check with a -6 penalty. So as you can see, corruption is not just something you can ignore. You're not going to be, even on the easiest level, you're not going to be able to just fight through a -5 penalty to strength, dexterity, and your charisma scores. That's just not happening. So it becomes very, very important if you want to be able to have long campaigns where you clear out a lot of content before coming back to the home base. You need to have someone skilled in religion to limit this corruption as much as possible. And that wraps it up. I hope that helped all of you understand how camping works in this game. I also hope that this helps you understand more of the decisions I made regarding party composition in one of my previous videos. This is why stealth, religion, and perception are so important for your party. It helps you do those long campaigns that is going to make the game much shorter than it would be if you have to just keep running back to home base every time you go somewhere. But anyway, hope all of you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave me a like down below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I will see you all in the next video. Take care.